Hello everyone. Okay, it's not started yet. Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome to Global Bizapps Day 2020, powered by D365 Champs. I'm Vivek Patil. Hope you all are doing well and keeping safe. This session is going to be presented by Hiren Modi. Hiren will be talking more about on the DevOps for Dynamics 365 customer engagement and the solution management, the complete thing. The Hiren is Microsoft certified professional and technology specialist. Seren having 17 plus years of industry experience, out of which almost 12 plus years into Dynamics. He has worked into multiple countries into Gulf as well as now he is currently located into Norway. He recently moved to Norway almost year and a half back. So Hiren is currently working with uh, AITC as a company in Norway, and what today Hiren is going to show is the DevOps, the auto testing of CRM using different tools like SpecFlow and Jerkin. Before I hand over the session to Hiren, I would like to mention that if you have any questions, which we know there will be a lot of questions, so please feel to drop it into a chat window. And if if we got a time, if we allow you to unmute yourself, you can ask the questions over there as well. As I already said, this is gonna be a longer session, so it will be good if we can allow Hiren to complete the things, and then we can take the answers, question answer sessions in a separate side into chat window even after we finish the session. So Hiren, on to you. Please go ahead and share your screen and continue. And thank you all for joining again.
Hello everyone. Thank you so much Vivek for introducing me and allowing me 7 more minutes to start to give my demo. It will be really helpful because it will be a little bit longer than usual. So okay, let me start with my presentation so we don't waste time here much and we can start presentation. So I'll share my is everyone able to see my screen? Vivek?
Yes, we can see your
Yep.
screen, Hiren.
Okay, perfect. So let's start with the slides. I haven't spent much time on the slide because I am trying to show you everything as a practical and in the technical. So I'll just explain a little bit about DevOps because overview of DevOps already given by one of our champ earlier. So let's start with a little bit of overview and then we'll directly jump into actual demo. So as I have already introduced by Vivek Bhai. So I'm not going to share it again. Means I'm not going to explain myself again. But just for the namesake, I am Hiren Modi, working with Albatros IT Consultant AS in Norway, and I have a 17 plus years of experience in CRM and other CRM tools, and maybe in database also. So today's agenda is to completely show you a complete life cycle of our development using a DevOps. So that will start with creating a task and ends with the completing a task and mark it as a done and deploy it into the production. So everything will be as a practical and will be a real time showcase. So the points I'm going to cover is Azure DevOps components. That's Azure board, call board and work items to manage the items. Stage of work items like number of stages and work item linked with branch and releases of our code repository. Then I'm going to show you the repository where it will be a solution structure, what type of solution we'll need for complete to finish a life cycle automatically. Then it will be master branch policies to for a security purpose, then branching and merging of all the branches using pull request. Apart from that, I'm going to cover pipelines that's for build pipeline and its artifacts, release pipeline, task groups, and post and pre-approval and schedule of your deployment task. And then I'm going to cover DevOps integration with Microsoft Teams. So you don't need to go every time for Teams and do approval task or any other monitoring task. Then automated system testing using Gherkin, SpecFlow, and our conventional web APIs, or you can say a service, organization service. And then Sparkle tool to deploy plugin and unpack solution into our code for maintaining a history of our codes and you can say maintaining our yeah. So let's start with the first thing, DevOps life cycle. So while I'm not going to deep into it, but yeah, DevOps life cycle is basically combination of multiple tasks and integrated with each other so that you don't need to go anywhere to see the status or monitor the task. So that starts with the creating of your task, then like coding, then building, then deployment, release, then operation and monitoring. So all these tasks are totally integrated with each other, and it is going to help us monitoring from the single place and a single tool. So that's the use of DevOps first of all. Why we should use DevOps? Like everyone think that okay, it's like a very normal thing to export solution and just import. Microsoft has given a really good tool for that. So why should we use DevOps then? Because I'm just going to import a solution. Well, there are some reasons for that. It's like a seamless development and management experience because everything is placed at a one place. So you don't need to run here and there to maintain your tasks, maintain your worksheets or everything. Your test cases, everything is linked with each other. So that will be easy to monitor and maintain and to develop also. Then one place for whole development life cycle, as I explained earlier, everything is totally integrated with each other, including your code, including your solution and everything, and it maintains your history also or versioning also. So you don't need to worry about like historical things or anything. So that will be easy for development also and for release also. Everything like task, build, release, code, commits are integrated with each other for better overview of development phase. So your task can be easily identified when it was deployed, how it was deployed, and what is current status of your task. So that way you can maintain easily your task or your release cycles or your testing cycles also. It's just a one-time efforts to set up everything. You can set up your DevOps pipelines or your task or your phases and everything. And once it is set up, you don't need to depend on any single person for your release, or you don't need to keep your checklist also, or you didn't, or you don't need to remember what are things you are going to do when you release it to production or test or staging, because sometimes it happens that your solution is deployed in staging quite early and then before going to production it's been a 1 month, and most of the time we forget that okay what we did in our staging to make it run. So you don't need to remember here everything is monitored by your DevOps pipeline cycles. So that's the best thing. Automated testing. So okay, whenever you are going to release, we have seen that okay, one release screw up our old changes, and it usually creates a trouble for us because we cannot do all the test every time when we go to production. While over here in DevOps, you just configure your test cases, and whenever you go to production or whenever you are going to production or deploying in your staging, it will run a full cycle of testing if you want, and it will execute all your test cases which you have created. So you don't need to worry about any failure or any side effect of your changes. So something is going to screw, that old even 10 years back test case will be tested there, and it will verify okay it is working fine or not. So that's the base part. So then apart from that, artifacts can be preserved for longer and they can be used to deploy our historical solution. So for example, if you want to deploy something which was released last month. Now, if you just imagine that you are doing a development and someone asks you, okay, can you just deploy a solution which was older than 1 month? Well, it will be very difficult, frankly speaking, because either you should have a backup on your machine of the solution, or you have to revert back all your changes from the solution, export it, and deploy it here. But here you have all the solutions available in your artifacts. Just select that artifacts and deploy in your instance, and it will be as easy. So that's the main reason or for reason for using a DevOps, or you can say it's the main benefits of using a DevOps. So just imagine you are not just deploying a solution. You are doing a lot of other things when you are deploying a solution, like importing some trial data, or you are creating some teams, or assigning security rules to team in a production, or you are doing a lot of other things like more than one solution. Then moving a configuration data, moving a USD data, or deploying your logic apps, service apps, or function apps, or even your APIs or websites. Everything can be done through a single pipeline, so you don't need to remember every time all these things. So just imagine that you are doing all this list of tasks every time you are going to deploy in your target instance. Well, everything will be taken care by DevOps as long as everything is in place. So these are the best benefits of our DevOps tools, and that's the reason why nowadays it's going very famous into market, and everyone is asking for the DevOps. For this demo, I'm going to use multiple tools. I cannot say that I have included everything, but I have included a main tools called Visual Studio 2017 for development, SpecFlow Gherkin for writing a test script, and you need to execute test on Visual Studio. So I'm not going to execute on Visual Studio, but I'll just show you. Then Sparkle XRM for exporting and importing our solutions and plugins, even deployment of plugins. Then Backward terminal window to execute our Sparkle commands. This particular terminal window is used to execute your script files or batch files, or you can say your PowerShell commands from the Visual Studio directly. So that will be required. Then Power DevOps tools by Val Hamza. That's like quite old and very stable Power DevOps tools developed by Val Hamza, but like it's a standard tool, so you cannot do any customization on it. As long as means if you want to use those tools, then you have to use it in a that way, which is available. So sometime you need to do a custom deployment, or you need to do a lot of things during deployment. Well, you can write down your own PowerShell script for a custom scripting for deployment of solution or exporting, importing, all type of CRM operations you can do through the PowerShell script. That's another thing that also I'm going to show you a little bit, not in the deep in the depth. And then Power Platform tools by Microsoft. So recently Microsoft has released, not even recently you can say, but yeah, Microsoft has released a Power Platform tools. Same operations done by Val Hamza is now available through Microsoft. Only the way of working is little bit of different, and you might find a little bit of difference between the tools. So I'm going to cover all the three. Just I'll show you, but for the demo purpose, I'm going to use Val Hamza, but I'm going to show you Microsoft tools and our custom script also. So these are the tools I am used. So let's jump into the demo now, straight to CRM. And okay. So this is our DevOps. Let's start with the tools available in the DevOps. So first thing first, these are the boards. So each work item is being created over here by your manager or your scrum master or your tech lead. Whoever is responsible to create a task will create a task over here, and all the tasks will be visible on the task board as soon as it has been created and assigned to that particular team. Here you can define a multiple team so that multiple team can work together. And as soon as the task is assigned to your team, it will be available into the new item, and from where the manager can assign to you, and you can just start work on it. I will show you each phase during our demo. Then repository, it's a complete solution which we are going to develop for our plugins and solutions and everything. So this structure has been created over here. I will just explain you when I'll be there in the Visual Studio Code. So that's the thing. This is a repository, means code, and then this is the list of commits. So whenever you are creating any branch or committing your code, you are going to see the history over here. Like this is the main branch called master. I have created a branch on it. Then I just proceed further my development, and then my push. Then I merge my changes to the master branch again. So that's called a merge. So these type of commitment history, you can see full list over here. Then pushes. So whatever changes you are doing in your CRM, you are going to push it to your branch, and that branch will be visible over here. That okay, you have done this many changes into your particular branch. So it's like not a master branch, but your commits, you can say. Then multiple branches. So we can create a branch to work on our task. Why we have to create a branch? Because if everyone is going to change into master directly, it will be very difficult to find out, and it will be very difficult to control it. So we don't know how it will be, how who has changed what, and it will be very, we can find out from the history, but it will be very difficult to find out. So what we have done is I have applied a master branch policies over here, where you cannot do any changes directly onto the master branch. You have to create a branch, finish your changes, and once you are done with the changes, you have to create a pull request to merge your changes to the master branch. And once your senior developer or a tech lead or responsible person approves it, then only it will merge with the master, and from there your pipelines will start. So here I have defined some policies here, like first policy required a minimum number of reviewers. So I have marked as 1. You can define 1 or 2, depends on your requirement. Here for the demo purpose, I have allowed allow requester to approve their own changes. Usually we don't do that. Rather we do a prohibit. We do not allow anyone who has created a pull request cannot approve his own pull request. But here for demo purpose, I am the only user, so I have allowed it. So, but yes, this is the way you can define your approver. Then check for link the work item. So any commit or any merge should not be without linking that changes to a particular work item which was on which you are working right now. So you have to link a work item. I'll show you when I'll create a pull request. And then a main thing is build validation. We are going to cover this in our future demos, hopefully. So this is for like as soon as you create a pull request, pipeline will execute. That pipeline will actually verify your code whether it is as per the standard or not. You can define those standard using like StyleCorp or FXCorp solution, FXCorp tools to verify. Okay, and you can configure your own your own policies, or you can say own coding standards into it. And once the pull request is created, it will automatically check that okay, all your code is following all the coding standard or not. If it is following, then only it will mark it as success, and then only it will go to your approver. Otherwise, it will not even go to your approver. It will directly reject there only. So you have to rechange it. It will show you the reason. You just follow it and change those things and recommit your code. And once everything is fixed, then it will go to the approver. So this is the very important thing, which I'm not going to show it right now, but yeah, definitely in future we'll cover this. So this is one thing. Then let's go to another part. That's branches. So to fulfill this, for each feature or each bug or each task work item, you are going to create one feature. You are going to create one branch, and then you merge that branch with the master. So that's one thing. Then these are the pull requests which you are going to create to merge your branch into the master branch. And you can see these are the completed one earlier. So we'll create one more for us today. Then the main part like build cycle and release cycle. So there are two types here, pipelines. So these pipelines are build pipelines which are used to compile your code into DLL and pack your solution into a zip folder, and then it will combine everything and push it to a one artifact folder called a drop folder. Here we can identify as a drop folder. So it will deploy all your artifacts into the drop folder. As soon as your artifacts are saved into the drop folder, your release pipeline will trigger, and that pipeline will pick up those artifacts from the drop folder and start deploying to the test all the instances you have defined here. So that's the complete cycle of building and release. So then let's go to environment. There are now new type of pipelines are there. That's called a YML pipeline. So it's like basically new concept of pipelines that we are going to cover in the future. And once you create this pipeline, I'm going to cover this environment also in future. So that's like part of YML pipeline. But this currently we'll go through the task group. Okay, so for example, in each of your release pipeline, you are going to perform certain set of tasks every time. So you don't need to add those tasks into your pipeline every time in your stage every time. You just create a task group and combine all the tasks into one group and use this group into your pipeline. I will show you how I have done it. And then test plan and artifacts, we'll cover this. This is not that much complex, but yeah, I'm going to cover it as a complex scenario in future, definitely with combining this test plan with the Visual Studio test integrations, and we'll show how it can be executed from here. But that will be our future task. So these are things we are going to cover over here. So then let's start with first thing. Let's go to the board and we'll create one new task here. Okay, I'm going to develop this. Okay, add new trial field on account form. So this is a new task created. Let's open it. Then add some description over here. Now here we have a description and acceptance criteria. So you can write out the description, and then your maybe QA or your tech lead will write down all the acceptance criteria when this task should be considered as a completed. So for example, here I'm going to write down, okay, add new field account. Then I'm going to add acceptance criteria that okay, then field should be field should have default value when account is created. So now when I open this task to work on it, I have all the details. Okay, what I have to do and when it will be considered as a completed. So now, for example, someone has assigned this task to me, save and close. So now this task is assigned to me. Now here you can define your task as per your priorities. So it is not necessary that 5 number will come first and 6 number will come out. No, you can just move up and down. And now these are the stages my task will pass through. So first thing, let's push it to the doing, because now I'm going to start development or development in it. Now everyone has question that, okay, is this a fixed number of stages? No, well, it is a totally customizable. You can go to settings and columns and you can define your own stages over here, and that will be useful for you as per your requirement. So you can create a sub stages also, like split a column into doing and done. So for QA and test is like that. So let's start development on it. So now do I need to go anywhere else? No, well not. So just I'll open this task. Now, as I told you, everything is totally integrated here. So I'll just see here, okay, my task as a development, that will show me, okay, where my task is currently lying, where my release is currently lying. So like it is on a test or a production or it is in a UAT, everything will be displayed over here when it will be continue. Then we have a development. So here I can create my own branches. I can see all my commits, pull request and everything over here. And then related work. So if there is any subtask related to this main task, it will be displayed over here. So then let's start with our branching. So let me create a branch over here. I'm going to work on feature added number 5. Okay, so now you can see it's the based on a solution and it is from the master branch. You can select other branch also if you want to create a sub branch, but here we are going to create from the master. So I'll just leave it as it is. So now my 5 number branch will be created from this master, and this is a work item I'm going to attach with this particular branch. Then I'll create a branch. Okay, so let's go to the branches and see. Okay, my 5 number is ready here. So now it's time to go to the solution. I'm on Visual Studio. So I can see here currently I'm working on a feature branch 4. So let me go to the feature branch 5 because I'm going to work on it today. So to bring it down, so first of all, you have to go to the main screen, home screen, then click on the sync and pull it. Well, so once it is pulled, go to the branches here and you will see these are the local branches which I have worked or I am working on it. And these are the remote branches available on my server. So I'll click on the feature folder and the 5 number is over here. Now I have to just double click on it and that branch will be checked out to work on it. So here I am on the, like now the 5 number is also created here. Let's go to the solution. I can verify in my bottom right corner that, okay, I'm working on this feature 5. So by mistake, you don't commit something else. So we are ready with our development task. Now let's start with our customization first from the solution. Okay, so this is my development DevOps there. So I'll just see, okay, solution is already there, DevOps solution. I'll open it. This is like a basic task what we do in a normal life, which I hope everyone is aware of.
Meanwhile, there is a question.
Yeah, please.
So there is a question from Kiran. Is there any specific structure of a project that required to be designed in the Visual Studio?
Yes, I will just share with you now because I am going to Visual Studio now.
Okay.
It's opening first time today, so maybe it's taking time.
Meanwhile, if you want, you can answer that one, Kiran.
Yeah, okay, let's start then. Okay, so let's start with this solution folder. So here you can see I have multiple projects. So I'll just explain you one by one how it is and why I have included all these projects. So let's start with these 2 tools first. Okay, so these are the configuration data and the configuration data mover. So these are basically Alexander exe that you can create your own exe also here. Like this exe, what it does is it reads your data using an XML file. So for example, I want to migrate a certain number of tasks from my source instance to the target instance. So then in that case, I can define my fetch XMLs over here and I can just store it over here. And once everything is stored here, I can just execute this task and pass this file as a parameter, and this XML will be exported and imported into this. No, sorry, the data based on this fetch XML will be exported from my source instance and imported into my target instance. So this task is used for migrating a data between two instances. Now we have developed this. I had developed this quite earlier, so it was there, but now it is not required because now exporting a configuration data is available and importing a configuration data is available. So these two are no more required. So you can just find this task directly into your DevOps tools. Second thing is acceptance test. So we are going to use this acceptance test for doing a UI testing. I was supposed to show this UI testing today, but then after I faced some issue, and when I just upgraded the DLS, it stopped working. So I'm not going to cover it in this demo, but definitely in future we'll cover this. So this is for acceptance testing. Then we'll take another one called unit testing. So this unit testing is basically used for fake testing. So for example, you have created a plugin. Now you don't need to do a full cycle like creating an account and check it out whether plugin is working or not, but rather you can use the fake XRM tools, and you can test your plugin directly from here without creating an account. So that's the one that's the one thing. Then system testing, which we are going to cover today. So system testing is basically testing your cycle using a web service or web APIs of CRM. So here we can write down our test cases, and those test cases will be executed in our pipeline. So, and it will check whether everything is working fine or not. So I am using a Gherkin over here. So Gherkin, SpecFlow, and our conventional services. So I will explain you when I will write down the test cases. Then we have solution package. This solution package contains two folders called DevOps demo and DevOps demo manage. So I have a solution which I want to export in my code. So I will use a Sparkle XRM for that. These are the Sparkle XRM we are going to use. And that XRM will export my solution into this two particular folder, which I'm going to use in my pipeline to pack and deploy in our target instances. That's one thing. Then these are the project data. As I told you, we have already available export configuration and import configuration. So we can use this folder for that particular task. So that whenever you export your, you can store your schema file over here and use this schema file when you configure your export task in the pipeline. Then plugins and workflows, you can write down all your plugins and workflow into this particular project where you have your custom code. And then deployment package. So this deployment package is basically I'm not using anymore, but usually whenever you are inside the pipeline, when you pack your solution, you use this deployment packager to store your zip files. And there used to be earlier a lot of mapping files were there to deploy the solution, but now it is not required. So, but yeah, so basically these three folders are no more required, but this structure will be there in most of the DevOps cycle, means most of the DevOps code which is related to DevOps. And this is one-time setup. So once it is set up, you don't need to worry, it will work as it should be. So this is the solution structure for DevOps. So now let's go. I hope it's open. Well, it's still not open. It's strange. Is there any other question, Viveka and Priti, you can take?
No, not yet.
Yeah. Okay, so let the solution work right now. Let's go and write down a plugin. Okay, so these are the plugin I have already created over here, which we are going to modify. So now my test case shows me that acceptance criteria shows me that a default value should be populated on my trial field whenever I create an account. So I'll do one thing. I'll just write down a plugin here, and I will store that. Okay, my trial field 5 should be populated with some sort of value. So basically what I'm going to do is when my account is created, I'm going to deploy, I'm going to fill this field with some specific text over here. So So I'm going to save it. Now, how am I going to deploy this plugin? Do I need to go to plugin registration tool? Well, it's not required here because we have configured a Sparkle here. So these are my plugin registration configurations which are going to set. So I can define it on the top of my class file class, and you can see all the attributes are defined over here. So these attributes are part of like my CRM plugin registration attributes CS file. It is part of our solution. So you can see here plugin registration attributes are there. So this is the file where I have defined all my attributes. So you can see like execution mode is asynchronous, synchronous, image type, then isolation mode, message number, message enum, like then plugin step operation number, and then stage enum. So these are all the things I have defined over here. So I'm going to use this in my plugin. So okay, so these are the attributes I'm going to say message dot create. So my plugin will be deployed in the create step. Then it's on which entity I'm going to do it, post operation, synchronous, and then I'm going to give a step name, that what is the name on the that, and then order of execution, and then isolation mode. So once I compile, means once everything is ready, just rebuild the solution, and then let's see if it's still open. Yeah, I think so. Now it should open quickly. Wow. Okay, finally. Let's go to the entities. I have already created the solution, so we'll use the same one. Let's go to the field, and wow. I'm not sure why it is so slow today. Okay. Okay, let it open then. Okay, so this is my plugin code. Now I'll show you how I'm going to create a test cases over here because we have time and it is opening. So let's go to the system test here. So I have created 2, 3, and 4. I can create over here one more called okay source add file and a new item. Now you can see I have already installed a spec flow here, so I can find out the spec flow feature file is there. I will use it and I'll give a same name called 5 here and add it. I'm sorry, I'm just moving here and there because it's taking a lot of time to open it. So okay, so now my feature is 5 and I'm going to 5. I can put on some comment over here and I can put some comment scenario over here. Okay, trial field 5 should be filled with random value. Now, how to write down these cases? You can see here, I have used the Gherkin. This Gherkin is used to provide you a business friendly language to write down your test case, and that will be converted into your C# code by a spec flow transformation. So for example, I'm just writing here given I log into CRM. So this is the one I've written. So I log into CRM. You don't need to write down a complete code to log into CRM here. So you can just see I have one time configured it here. How I do it. So basically in each test project, I have a step file called where I write all the steps of our C# code. And then I have feature file that will be written for that will be written in a Gherkin. And we have a CS file that will be automatically created that will transform your feature file into the C# code. Here with the latest spec flow, it is this code behind file is not getting generated. It is directly generated on a compile time. So you need to do a small change here. You just need to remove this single file generated, and that's it. So 5 number. So now it will automatically generate the code behind file when your when you will compile your code. So let's go back to the 5 number. So when I write a open login to CRM, here in my C# code API step file, what I've done is I have written each and every function here. Like login to CRM, I have one function. Then when I have another function called on account, the field should not be null or empty. Then this is one function that will basically take that account ID and it will fetch it will retrieve this particular field name, and it will show whether the value is null or not. And I pass this star to provide the value in a dynamic way, which field I want to check. So now let's go back to the 5 number. So this is the main header I am going to give, and these headers are used in the Gherkin file to identify it. So now let me just copy it from to the rest of the things. So my first step is given I log into CRM. Then second step is I create a new account with account name, and I'm giving this account name as a parameter and phone number as a phone number. Here you can pass hardcode value also, but because I want to execute more than one test, I don't want to write down this copy paste these things in like 10 times. So what I do is I create an examples over here and pass out the values over here. So now I am already on the 3. Let's add one more called hidden demo trial 5, then 5 phone number should be this. Then let's go to the new, I'll give the field name new underscore trial field 5 and then 5. So I am ready with my test case now. Now these 3 test case will be executed when my pipeline will deploy it into the test. So now let's see if it is open or not. Okay, great. So trial field 5. Okay, it should not mismatch. Trial field 5. Okay, I am ready with, let's just reduce a little bit and 50 and save and close. Let's go back to solution now. Well, so now it's created, and let's go to the form, and I will deploy this field onto the form. Okay, ignore it. We don't want to do it then if it takes time. It looks like it has a little bit laziness in the morning. Yeah. Okay, ignore it. Okay. Then let's just save it and publish all the customization. Now my field is there. Oh, I'm not going to add it into project now. So okay, let's go back to the solution project file. Okay, so here my test file is there, and here my plugin is also ready. That plugin is going to deploy. That plugin is going to fill field number 5 with a value, and my test case will try whether the field number 5 is ready or field or not. So that way I am going to test whether the field is created or not, and my plugin is working fine or not. So both the test cases, both the scenarios going to test over here. So we are going to finish it over here. Let's just rebuild this whole solution now. Yeah, I'm waiting. It's a bit slow today. I don't know why. Okay, until then we'll explain this terminal window. Okay, so now as you see, I have a Sparkle deployed here, and this is a backpack terminal we are going to use to execute our code, means our Sparkle command. So let's go back to cd dot and okay. So this is a batch file I'm going to execute to deploy my plugin from code itself. So we don't need to go to plugin registration tool and check it out every time. Okay, I'll just close this solution. It's already published. So let's go here. This is a batch file I'm going to execute. So, okay, so when you execute, so make sure that this version is mentioned properly. I have suffered a lot because I never noticed this, and I wasted a lot of time. So it is on the latest version. Now we have two options here: add a new server configuration or use an existing one. So if you are doing first time, then you can just configure a connection string over here. But once it is configured, it is stored on a local machine, so you can use it from the list available. So it will show you all the stored one. Here I am going to work on one, so place one and enter, and that's it. It is going to deploy my plugin into CRM, and it will add my plugin into my solution also. So I don't need to worry about that plugin deployment, and then I don't need to add my library and steps into the solution. It will automatically get added over here. So, and then how it happens. So let's go back to plugin, and well, here it is not much to know. Okay, that's okay, ignore it. And let's go back to solution here. If it opens quickly, I'll show you. Otherwise, it's okay. Yeah, okay. So now we can see here, it is already deployed into my plugin and plugin libraries, and SDK messages are also created over here. So these are my two steps. So one I have created before and one now. Okay, so it's ready now. My plugin is there. It's already deployed in solution. Now it's time to unpack our solution and export it into our solution package over here. How to do that? Again, terminal window, cd cd. Now I'll pass this unpack batch, enter. Now the same list of connection will be available here. Press 1, unpack it. This will unpack your solution into this folder. So just let's wait for a minute. Let me see if we have missed something here. No, yeah. So let's explain this solution package. Now I'm going to execute this Sparkle for unpack, and it will read all the configuration from my Sparkle JSON file. So this is the file I'm configuring how I'm going to export my solution. So these are the array, like number of solutions you want to unpack. So I'll just give C2, 1, give a solution unique name called DevOps, then package path where I want to export it. So I'm going to give a folder number, a folder name. I can give a path also. Then solution path called DevOps, and then version number.zip. Package type I can define, either want to unmanage or I want a manage one. So I have created two array here, one with the unmanage, and then same with the manage. And then I'm going to provide the plugin assembly path through which it will map the plugins, and it will add as a DLL in my solution. So, and then if I am going to develop web resources in my Visual Studio Code, I can map it from the Visual Studio Code itself through this folder. So I have created this folder over here, this web resources. I can create the scripts and images and everything over here. So that's how it is going to manage. That's how it's going to pack everything. And you can see it's unpacked now. Solution is part of it. Let's go back, solution package, and refresh it and see. Okay, so my entity XML is changed, my solution is changed, and you can see in plugin assembly, you can find out my new DLL is already deployed, means included. And this is the data XML, which is there. So everything is ready now. Time to commit your code. What I did.
There's a question here.
Yeah.
Is it deploying plugin directly from Visual Studio using extension instead of Azure DevOps pipeline, correct?
Yes, it is through the extension. That is called a Sparkle XML. There will be XRM, sorry, Sparkle XRM to deploy your plugin, and to it's basically using a solution packager and plugin deployment tools.
Great. I think that answers your question, Kiran.
Yeah, yes, thank you, Niran and Preeti.
Yep. Thanks. So I'll commit everything over here, and now it is committed to my local, so I have to push it to my server. I'm going to push it. Let's see. Okay. So here my Visual Studio task is over. I'm going back to my DevOps. Let's go back to the board item here. open my task. My development is done. I pass it to the done now. I'll open it. Okay, here you can see now. Earlier it was giving me a creation of branch options. Now as the branch was created, it is showing me the branch linked to this work item. And because I have done a latest commitment here, so it is showing me latest commit just now. So I can just go here and create my pull request to merge my code with master branch. Here I can define a reviewer because it is mandatory here. So let's provide a reviewer. Work item is already linked, and whatever commit message I have passed through the Visual Studio will be displayed over here. I can see the changes I have done in my code and number of commits in this pull request. Everything is over here. Just commit it, create it. Now, when you create it, it will automatically send a message to your approver that, okay, this pull request is there for your approval, and you can mark it as a set autocomplete over here. When you do autocomplete, as soon as all the required checks are finished, it will automatically merge with the master. It will not ask you to do it. It will automatically merge with master, and your pipeline will be triggered automatically. Now, when you go for enable automatic merging, there are multiple options. And whether you want to complete associated work item as soon as merge, and you want to delete your branch. Well, I'll not set it over here, and I'll just mark it as set autocomplete. Once autocomplete is done, it is just waiting for at least one approver must approve this. So let's do it. I will approve this task. But before approve, I can go and check all the standards, whether everything is proper or not. You have done, if developer has done any mistake or has not followed some sort of standard, then it will, I can just verify and mark it as a comment there. Okay, this is not proper, do it. Then he can go and change it. So now everything is fine, committed. So you can come here and my pipeline has started. So my build pipeline has triggered and it has started building my code over here. So let it do its operation. I'll just show you what I have done over here. So let's go to the pipeline. Edit it. Okay. So this is basically complete pipeline I have set up for your demo. And let's go back to this is the pipeline. So on which specification you are going to execute it. So it's like a Visual Studio 2017 and Windows 2016 machine. So it will basically create one virtual machine for the execution of this pipeline. Then there are variables you can define over here like user ID, password, everything, connection string, and this user ID, this password can be locked as well as set as a queue time. Then, and you can use a variable global variables also. Now these are the triggers on which action you want to trigger this pipeline. So I want to execute when the master branch has some changes. I can exclude everything over here, depends on my requirement. Then there are certain number of options like the version number, retention history, and everything. So how I want to behave this pipeline. And the number of tasks. So let's start with here. It is going to trigger on the master. And let's start here. So this is the Wellhamza tool I'm going to install first. Then I'm going to restore my NuGet package because I have included a lot of NuGet package in my solution. So that will be automatically restored over here. Then there will be a build solution. So I'm compiling this solution over here with all the platform, like you want to do a release or debug or whatever is there. So then I'm going to use this export DevOps solution. So this is a main task for a CRM. This will export a solution from my dev. So I'm just displaying it over here because I just want to show you. Otherwise, we can use our package folder, which was created over here when we unpacked our solution. Otherwise, you can use directly export from the CRM. So I'm going to provide a connection string, solution name, what type of solution I want to export, target version, which is now deprecated, so don't use it. And then output path where you want to export it, and connection timeout with async and sync. And then additional control options. What do you want to do? When you want to execute this task, and what do you want to do when it fails? Then I'm going to export the solution, extract it. Then I'm going to set a version over here. So you can set a version dynamically over here. So for example, here I'm going to set my build number as a version of the solution, and then I'm going to pack the solution into zip folder, zip file, and then put it as a part of artifacts. Let's go to this one particular task, which is like I have created for just a demo purpose. This is the PowerShell script. You can use it for exporting the solution. So you can provide a connection string, solution name, and then you can use this export XRM solution, and you can provide all the configuration values you want to do. So this is just a one task I want to show that this is also another way to do the export solution. And then there is one more called Power Platform Tool Installer. Power Platform tool, which you can use for exporting the solution. Again, this is provided by Microsoft. And you can same way you can provide a zip folder file and everything, but you here rather than providing connection string, you have to provide a service connection you can create from this project setting. So this service connection basically connect to the particular CRM instance. So this is the build pipeline. So let's see if it is finished or not. Now it's still executing, and let it finish its work. But I'll just show you any existing finished pipeline. Let's go back. Okay, this is yesterday night. Okay. Let's go through it. Okay, so once the pipeline is finished, you can see here it's a like list of the task it has performed, and then here you can see artifacts. So one artifact is published. You can go here, you can check it out. It's a drop folder, and you can see all your DLLs and everything is available over here, like DevOps demo.zip file. This is your solution file you are going to import into the target solution. So this is my build. So as soon as these artifacts are really ready, my release pipeline will trigger, and this release pipeline, let it work, but I'll just explain this pipeline as quickly as possible because we are running out of time, I believe. It's 8:45 already. Okay, so this is my pipeline. Here I can define when I want to trigger my pipeline. That is called an artifact. So I'm going to set up the artifacts over here. So from where I want to take the artifacts, it's like a source build, and this is a project. Then this is my pipeline name for which artifacts I want to use. Which version you want to use, the default will take a latest, and then a source alias name. So I'll just give an alias name, so just to verify it properly. Use it easily. Then we have multiple tasks here on this demo. Like I want to deploy into the test, then I want to deploy in staging, and once everything is ready, I want to deploy into the production. Let's go back to the variables. Same way, the variables can be defined here. There are two types of variables. Scope you can define a scope variable. So one is release. So this release will be used all over all the tasks defined over here. All the 3 tasks you can use this variable if the scope is release. But if the scope is test, then it will be used only in the test. If it is staging, then only in the staging. So if it's a test, then it will be available only here. If it's staging, it will be available only here. Then retention, for how long you want to keep your release, just for the history purpose, and there are multiple options. Now these multiple options are here. You can go to the integration. Now on the DevOps task, you want to see basically, where is my board? So over here, I want to see where my task is deployed. So basically it is where it is currently lying. So I can just verify from here. So to do that, in the pipeline, you have to set up this particular thing. So once the deployment is host, like for example, deploy to test stage, then it will be marked as a testing. If it is a staging, then it will be staging. If it's production, then it's production. Accordingly, you can verify, okay, my task is already deployed into this particular instance right now. So all these things are there. Then let's go back to the pipeline. I will explain the task here. It's like the same type of task, importing, downloading, installing the DevOps tools, then import the solution. Here I can provide a folder name or a file name. Then I want to see what type of, these are the same options which are available when you do a manual import. So here we are going to use the same thing, like publish my workflows, overwrite and manage. Now here I'm going to use a holding solution for upgradation. So after installing this solution, it will not actually install, but rather it will install upgrade solution. And we have to use another task called apply solution. So it will upgrade your solution into the main solution. So that will be the latest solution. So once everything is done, here comes my test library. The test cases we have written over here. You can find out over here test categories. So depends on test category you are mentioning in the test filter criteria, it will execute over here. Now my test library is using one main thing called credentials. Okay, so I have 2 options. Either I can store these credentials over here as a hard coded or into my config file into solution, or I can get it from the environment variable. So here I have used an environment variable. So you can see the environment.get environment variables, and I am giving a different names of the variables, a dynamic test URL, test username, and test password. Now how this variable comes? So these variables will set over here. This is a PowerShell script. So I'm using this variable. So like for example, dynamic test username, template, temporary test user password, and dynamic test URL. So I'm passing these parameters over here. And these variables will be set as an environment variable, and that will be in turn used by this particular string, and all their test cases will be executed using this particular test. Okay, so these are the way you can pass your credentials. Once it is ready, you can see, okay, I am going to use this system test.dll only. You can add multiple lines over here. If you want to do UI testing, add one more line. If you're doing to go unit testing, add one more line with those particular DLL files. And then you want to publish your test results into the test result folder from where you can verify, okay, everything is fine or not. So this is my one task. So now I want to do this same thing into my staging also. Then why do I add the solutions here? Rather, what I did, I added my two tasks into a task group. As I explained earlier, this is my task group where I import solution and apply solution is there, which I am using now into my pipeline here. So you can see these task groups are used. So when you click on the add, like other tasks, you will get your task group over into the list. So you don't need to go anywhere else. Okay. So the task group is there. Whatever parameters you have defined in your task group will be passed from here. So you can pass this parameter here. So same way you can do it in the production also. So you don't need to write down every time. Now it's an approval. So for example, everything is deployed into test and it is ready for the deployment of the staging. So then, okay, QA is doing some other testing right now. So he doesn't, or he or she doesn't want that solution to be deployed right now because it will disturb him. So then, okay, I have applied an approval. So this is called a pre-deployment approval. So only QA can decide when I want to deploy this into the staging. So your solution, your pipeline will stop here and wait until it is get approved. So as soon as it gets approved, it will automatically check in. It will automatically start into the staging deployment. Once the staging is ready, QA will do testing and he will do the post deployment approval if everything is fine or not, or else he can reject. Once it is done in the production deployment, I don't want to deploy it immediately when my QA approves it. Rather, I want to do it after office hours. So I can define my schedule time over here when I want to deploy this into the production. So once all these things are ready, you don't need to worry. Every time you do your commit, your pipeline will be executed. So let's go and see now if the release pipeline is started or not. Yes, so
A
it's
quick
already
time
started.
check, Hiren. We have got
Yeah.
10 minutes more.
Okay, we are on the time. I think we should be finished. Okay, so my solution is getting imported. Let's just hold over here. Let it finish its task, and then I will explain you how a QA will get a pop up in his Teams, Microsoft Teams, to approve the task. Until then, I will take you back to my presentation. Yeah. Okay, issues faced. Okay, when I was setting up this particular demo, I created a new instance. So as soon as I created a new instance, I got authentication issues called WS authentication is no more supported and is deprecated. So all my pipeline which I had set up has to be changed, and I have changed all the connection string which was O authentication, and that connection string is already defined in my pipeline. I can show you later when I go back to the pipeline. Then acceptance test UI testing stopped working. I was supposed to show this, but unfortunately it stopped working at the last moment. So I have to skip it. Anyway, we didn't have enough time also, I believe. So we can take this in the future. So these two things these two issues I have faced while my solution got upgraded. Now let's go back. Let's go and see what are the future topics we can cover in our further future DevOps demos. This is a test plan integration with the Visual Studio Test. That's what I just show you that we are going to cover it in future. Then YML pipelines and environments that we can create in future. Then unit testing using fake XRM, CRM UI testing using EasyRepro and EasyRepro. EasyRepro is basically Microsoft library based on the Selenium testing tool. So that we can use for our UI testing with the same like using a Gherkin. No need to write down the steps. Custom PowerShell task for CRM operation. I have shown you very basic task, but we can go through a very complex task which you can perform on your pipeline. So like every time such a simple scenario will not be there for you. There will be a lot of complex scenarios are there which we can achieve through this PowerShell scripting. So I can show you that. Then there are Git operations from pipeline. So for example, you want to create a branches when your pipeline is executing, like once the production is deployed, you want to create a branch called a production support branch. So you can create from the pipeline itself. That's called a Git operations. We can do through the pipeline itself. Then deploy logic app function apps using ARM templates. That also we can explain in our future tasks. So these are the future tasks which we can cover later on. Let's see now if it is deployed or not. Okay, let it deploy. I'll just explain you already deployed pipeline. Okay, so I'll not explain everything, but let's go and see how the test looks, because that's the main thing. Import solution is fine, apply solution is fine. So okay, once everything is deployed, you can see here one tab is open called test. Go over here and it will show you, okay, how many tests has executed, 6 total tests. All the 6 has passed. If there is any failure, any other. If it is failed, you might have seen it over here, like the list of test execution. You can go and check, okay, what was wrong there, and you can verify over there. And you can correct your code, recommit it, and the whole cycle will be re-executed. So that's way it will automatically get tested. Like all my previous task is also there. So you don't need to remember, okay, this thing should be happen or not. So that's called automated testing, system testing, you can say. So that's a release plan. And okay, still it's waiting. Okay, let it done then. Okay, I'll just show you the teams then. Okay, let's go to the teams. So I have created one trial team over here called trial Hiren team. In general, as soon as the solution is ready for the approval, I will get like such kind of pop-up in my team. Okay, the post deployment approval pending for release. So I can just quickly click over here. It will take me to the same release file here, same release pipeline. I can go here and approve it. Same way, you can configure all sort of messages into a team, like whenever the new uh, pull request created, whenever any new commit has came, everything is configured through the team. So you don't need to go and check. You don't need to go and monitor the pipeline. Rather, you can just monitor through the teams also. So yes, so once everything is deployed over here, I can go back to my task and verify over here. Let it be, I'll just check some other task. Okay, for example, I'll go and check the 4th number task. Okay, I can see here, okay, my task is already deployed into the test, demo release 1, yesterday on deploy to the test, yesterday on deploy to staging, and yesterday on deploy to the production. So everything is done. All my tasks are finished. So better I go and mark it as a completed. So when it is in test, I'll pass it to QA, and then it's QA's job to mark it done and pass it to the finalized job. So yeah, that's my full complete cycle. I have finished my task from starting from creating to mark it as a done. This is a complete development life cycle using DevOps. Any question, Preeti? Vivek?
Yes, we have one. It is coming from Yogesh Sharma. Why
Mhm.
do we need to pack and unpack while developing? That is in dev branch. Once development is completed, then I can raise PR into master branch. From there, pack and unpack activity should be applicable.
Yes, but you can see there are 2 ways to do the export, as I told. One is exporting in the code. Second is exporting directly from the pipeline and pass it to the artifacts. But now, if you want to maintain your solution into your version control system like the repository, then you need to do it over here. So all your DevOps folder will be maintained into your repository like this. Okay. So you can go here and solution package, and it will be available over here. You can go and check the history from here, who has changed anything. Like, so if you want to maintain over here, you can do unpack over here. If you don't want to maintain this history and it is not a requirement, it's easy to do it. Just export the solution from the pipeline itself. So it's up to you and your requirement. Is it the
Yes, there's one more comment. He hopes that export solution in pipeline will take only components which are there in pull request. Otherwise, in that CRM solution, other components may be there.
Yes, basically, if you are exporting through the pipeline, it will not take only single components, because it doesn't know where it has to be deployed, because it's your build pipeline. Now, when you are exporting, it is exporting as a zip, and then it is exporting as a it is exporting as a zip file. I'll just show you here. Let's go back to the build. Yes. So basically, this is the export solution. It will take the components which are there in solution and exporting as a zip file, managed solution and unmanaged solution. So you have no control over here to export the which component you want to just export. Yes, you can control over here, because this is under your control, and you can commit only changes which you have done and not everything. So here you can control everything, but in the pipeline you cannot control it. It will be directly export, and then you can unpack it and you can repack it, and that is not part of your even artifacts. So neither you can compare over here.
Okay, I think we are we would like to conclude here because we are close to the end time.
Okay.
Okay.
So this
One
is-
last
thank you, guys.
question. Yeah.
Thank you, Hiren. It was a great explanation.
Most welcome, sir.
Okay, so the last question is there for Kiran. Is the project structure created using Sparkle or how?
No, I have created a project structure in my way, and then you can go to the NuGet solution and import your Sparkle over here. Include your Sparkle. You can go to the NuGet package. You will find it over here. Yeah, this is a Sparkle. So you can just configure this, and that will install in your solution, and then you can use it.
Okay.
So you have to just configure this JSON file, and that's it.
Okay, so I think we are short of time. So here you can look at the chat window once your session is done because there are a couple of more questions.
Yeah.
Okay, because we have like another session lined up, guys. So Hiren will be there to answer your questions in the chat window. Okay, or you can reach out to Hiren on his credentials, which he is sharing on his screen. So
Yeah.
thank you so much everyone for joining and Hiren for presenting a wonderful and a full technical session. It is more insightful. I think it was one of the key ask for one of our sessions as well, that there should be a DevOps session, and you actually came for this one. So thank you, Hiren. If you have any queries, guys, please put it in the chat window. And thank you, Hiren, and thank you, everyone, once again.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
guys, for attending this and giving this opportunity to speak over here. Thanks a lot again.
Thank you, Hiren, to connect all the way from Norway today and share your years of experience with us in a one. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Divesh. Bye bye. Take care, guys.
Thank you.